Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Issues and Inspiration. This is Marivir here in New York. How's everybody? I hope you're all feeling well, feeling good, keeping safe. And hi, I'd like to say hi to my good friend, beautiful friend, Grace. How are you, Grace? Kumusta?
Good evening, Marivir, or MM, I should say.
Hi, GL.
Yes, have a happy weekend. I'm
Happy
so glad to
weekend to
see
you.
you. And
Me
tonight
as
I'm so
well.
excited to meet our amazing and lovely guests. We have two subjects or topics that's very interesting and
Correct.
helpful for
Helpful
the
to
both
our
of us and the
for
viewers.
ourselves.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Okay.
do you want to introduce our first guest?
Definitely, it's my pleasure. Starting off with the health and wellness topic for tonight, I'd like to introduce a Filipino American yogin, Elizabeth May Stern, who has a mission to share her passion for the practice of yoga with as many people who are willing to listen. Her credentials include 200-hour Vinyasa Yoga teacher training at Inner Vinyasa, Makati, Philippines in September 2017, 100-hour pre and post-natal teacher training at Medical Yoga Institute, Manila, Philippines in August 2019, 300-hour advanced teacher training at One Movement Yoga School in Germany in September 2020. Liz had always been the figure skater that she wanted to be. She started her training at age 3 but retired at age 19 when she experienced the first loss in her life. Her mom, Marlene Stern, died of pancreatic cancer and impacted her life tremendously. She worked in the Philippines and later discovered yoga as a way to cope with stress and grief. Now, Liz is a full fledged yoga instructor. Hi, Liz. Good evening and welcome to Issues and Inspirations.
Hi, thank you
Hi.
so much for having me.
Hi, Liz.
Thanks for
Welcome and
joining
thanks for having
us.
us.
Yes, I've
Okay.
met your parents at community events years ago, and I'm so glad to meet you tonight. You have
Yes,
Yeah.
grown to such a beautiful lady inside and out.
thank
So,
you, thank you.
tell us about your passion to health and wellness and your journey to being a yoga instructor.
So I've always been active my whole life. I used to be a figure skater, like you said,
Mhm,
and when I started working in corporate, I was in marketing, and the
mhm,
lifestyle was very intense, very
mhm,
stressful. Um, and the stress really got to me where it put me in the hospital for about 5, 6 days. I had kidney stones, and it's just something that has never been an issue for me. Physically,
mhm,
I've always been in good health. So that was like a real wake up call that I just wasn't really enjoying what I was doing anymore. It was too stressful. And
mhm,
I had practiced yoga for a long time through skating. And as
Mhm.
I moved to the Philippines, it got more serious as a way for me to kind of like disconnect from my corporate lifestyle. And, um, I just had an epiphany one day in class, and I was like, I could do this. Like, I could be a teacher for sure. And, um, yeah, I just started, it's kind of spiraled from there. I started talking to more teachers. I started talking to more yogis, learning about what I can do. And I took the plunge. I signed up for a teacher training, and I just fell more in love with the practice after I learned what the meaning behind the practice was, how you can make it your own. So I just felt the need to share that with as many people as I could.
Great. So tell us, Liz, is yoga for everybody or is it just for specific age group?
No, I think everyone, like anyone and
Mm-hmm.
everyone should do yoga. That is like the one thing I stand by. Doesn't matter if you're a child
Mm-hmm.
or, 80 years old. I think you can do yoga. A lot of times, yoga is strictly associated with asana, meaning movement practice, but yoga is
Mm-hmm.
so much more than that. Sitting in meditation, being conscious of your breath practice, pranayama,
Mm-hmm.
that's all yoga. It's really a lifestyle that you commit to. So there's, more than just the movement practice. So everyone can do yoga.
I see.
I
You
see.
have a question,
Okay.
Grace?
Of course, yes. So in this pandemic, most of us are at home, right? So what yoga
Right.
exercise are fit for a sedentary life right now?
Um,
Do we need gadgets to practice yoga?
no,
No.
no, you
Okay.
just need physical body
Mhm.
and you need some space for your body.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
And if you have a mat, great. If you don't have a mat, you don't really need one just yet, especially if you're just starting a practice. So some postures that you can do, like seated stuff.
Yes, let's see it. Let's see
Oh,
it.
So like
yay.
Mhm.
We are
if you're
your
sitting in
students.
the desk all day, so just
Okay.
imagine you're like typing, da da da.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So your shoulders are constantly slouched, you're looking down. So a nice way to open that up is you can just take your hands overhead, reach them up, and then inhale, you'll gaze up towards the
Oh my
sky,
God.
and then
Mhm.
exhale, you
Good.
can
Yeah,
rest
it
your
looks so
head.
good and it feels
Yes,
good too.
inhale.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh,
So
nice.
that you
Okay.
can do some gentle twists
Mm-hmm.
and then reach back up. Yes, and then
I'm
twist.
following her, Grace.
Yeah,
And then a
we'll
little
do that
side
later after the
bend.
show. Okay.
Yeah. So something like that. And then
Uh-huh.
that's super simple things just to get your spine moving to help open your chest. One of my favorites is just taking your hands behind your back, interlacing your
Okay.
fingers, and then
All right.
squeezing the
Yeah.
shoulder blades,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
especially if you sit all day.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice one.
yeah.
Okay. So
Because we're
those are
always on the
basically
computer.
stretching, right? Stretching.
Yeah, those are just
Mm-hmm.
awesome seated postures that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
If you are sitting all day, I really recommend that you get up and shake it around, jump around, and
Uh-huh.
just kind of like move your body a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. And then a nice one if you were on your knees here, just to kind of open up your hip flexors. You can take one foot forwards,
Mm-hmm.
both hands on top of your thigh, and then
Mhm.
let your hips sink down so that you can stretch out through the front of your hip flexor a little bit here. So
Okay.
Oh, wow.
yeah, just kind
This
of
is
simple
yeah.
stuff.
This is recorded, right,
Awesome.
Olivier, so I can go back later.
Yes, of course, it's recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can go back and do it maybe tomorrow morning.
Yeah, those are
Mhm.
just some
Yeah.
simple postures. I mean, I could give you a whole class, but then we'd be here for an hour. So
Yes, like
Awesome.
yeah, Olivia and I were discussing earlier. Like, yes, we will commit to doing this because
We need
we
a teacher.
definitely need it. Yeah, we're not getting any younger, so
Yes, GL. You know what? We need a teacher because, like, you can just go to YouTube and
uh-huh.
follow whatever exercise is given, but if you don't have a teacher, you will not follow a routine. You will just
Mm-hmm.
forget it, right?
Mhm.
So,
Right.
I have a question for you, Liz,
Yeah,
regarding your heritage and your family.
sure.
So, you're a grown woman, and I'm sure you have the best of both worlds, the East and the West. So, tell us
Mhm.
about your late mom, how she influenced you, and your dad.
Mm-hmm.
How these two different cultures have developed you as a person.
I think that my parents did an excellent job kind of blending both cultures cohesively. They never
Mm-hmm.
actually told me that, you have to be this, you have to be that. They
Mm-hmm.
presented what my Filipino side was like. They presented more about my Jewish side and
Mm-hmm.
kind of let us take that. I say let us, my brother and I, take that as
Mm-hmm.
we wanted and just really let us identify who we are. I think the biggest thing that they shared is just the values of family, being kind,
Mm-hmm.
working hard, um, all things I think that like a Filipino mom does for her family. And she was a massive influence for me growing up. And I saw how hard that she worked to come here to build a better life for
Mm-hmm.
her family. And, she brought her entire family over to the Philippines, and we always joke like she took so much risk and sacrifices to come to America to have a better life, and then my brother and I went back to the Philippines. So we kind of did the opposite of that. We had a great life and then said, let's struggle a little bit in Manila.
So did that help you in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, especially, I wanted to understand more about my roots as a Filipino. I knew about the culture. I feel like I grew up in a very Filipino family. We had a lot of observed a lot of the traditions. But after she passed away, I definitely felt like I needed more. And it was a great experience. It was challenging to say the least. Going from a first world country to a third world country, there's a lot of differences culturally, but it was definitely shaped me who I have become in the last 5 years. So I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have to have been there, to have, met more of my family that I wouldn't have had the chance to meet, and to get closer to her again. So it was really nice.
So it broadens your perspective, right?
Yeah, and it makes you appreciate both cultures more. It makes you appreciate my American side and what I had here, and how easy life is here, and it makes me appreciate how hard working Filipinos are and how much they have to sacrifice to simple things,
Right.
provide for their to get food on the table. It's a big culture shock. You don't realize if poverty is not in your face, you don't realize how much there is in the world. So that was a nice wake up call for me, I should say. So it kind of makes me appreciate so much of what my mom had to go through to get here.
Nice.
Amazing.
Okay. You stayed in the Philippines, Liz. So I learned today that you took classes in the Philippines, vinyasa classes. So tell us how and when did you decide to really start and focus on yoga, on being an instructor?
Just that I was taking vinyasa classes, and like I said, my corporate life was toxic for me. It was challenging for me to manage my stress. So yoga was like my only outlet that I had, because the ice rink was just so far. So normally it would have been, skating or something different like that, or finding a nice gym. But yoga was like the practice that really resonated with me, especially vinyasa classes. So vinyasa is a style which vinyasa means to place in a special way. So I liked the free flow of the class and the room that it has for you to express who you are. And when you're in practice, it's not so much about what the teacher's saying, but what the teacher says and how you can interpret that for yourself and what that feels like within your body. So, the teacher's just there as a guide. It's not really as an instruction, like you have to do this, you have to be this way, but just let me help you feel things, whether physically or emotionally is up to what they want to decide. But yeah. And then from there, I just fell in love, and I was like, this is something that needs to be shared with more people.
Nice. Okay. So can you tell us about the different styles of yoga, and how could someone find their preferred style?
So there's a ton of different styles of yoga. So vinyasa, ashtanga, rocket, katona. There's so many different styles, especially in like the modern day. A lot more is coming up. A lot of people are taking traditional practices and tweaking it to fit them. Also like a Bikram style is like an example of that. The best way to figure out what's for you is to practice. as much as you can in as many different classes. And I think your body will know, like, okay, that's exactly what I needed, and I need more of that. You know, endorphins, when you work out, right? When you work out, you feel really good. Your endorphins start to go, and you feel great after. I think it's a little bit of that when you do an asana practice, but then you feel it a little bit more emotionally and mentally. You kind of feel like a release can happen. A lot of people who practice might say that, you know, they cry, or like, you know, they're like, they open their hips so much that like they started to have tears in their eyes, or it made them feel a certain way. Like, oh, I felt just like all the weight from my shoulders was like lifted off. And I think because yoga connects breath and movement and a little bit more awareness, it has that effect for people when you do a movement practice.
Awesome. So, for example, I would be a student. You would have the way to assess which is a good modality for me, like Ashtanga or whatever it is you have right now as an expert, or Bikram or whatever.
I couldn't tell you what you would like. Only you would know. So you can come to my vinyasa classes and you might feel, hey, this is nice, but like, you know, I want to try an Ashtanga practice. An Ashtanga practice might resonate with you more. So for me, I need something that is going to surprise me in class. I don't want to know what's coming. So that's why vinyasa really helps or resonates with me, because it's always a little bit different. There are poses that show up in every class that are kind of the same, but the way the poses are sequenced are always a little different. It's a little bit more playful, and that kind of suits my personality more. When you're like in an Ashtanga practice, it's a little bit more strict, where the sequence is the sequence, and there's not much room for improvising or for going out of what that sequence is. Maybe you like neither of those practices and you need something more relaxing, and you want to do like a yin or a restorative practice where the poses are held a little bit longer and you kind of just lie in them for 2 to 5 minutes. And that might just be the practice that works for you. So
Okay.
it's just, it's really, you got to just go and try them out.
Yes, let's have a consultation
you have a
first.
Try it out.
Yeah, so do you have a favorite yogi or a guru that inspires you?
I do not partake in the guru mentality. I think there is a lot of, how do I, like, it's difficult to partake in that guru mentality, because there is negativity to that in certain aspects. There is positive aspects to that. I have yogis that inspire me. My teachers inspire me, which is why I decided to do those trainings. My friends that are yogis inspire me. But yeah, I take inspiration. Inspiration comes from anything and everything. So it could be a person that I see that, they did a posture and I'm like, oh, cool, I want to try that. And especially like in today's world with like Instagram and social media, that's kind of like what's thrown in our face. But a lot of what I love are like my friends who have like a more spiritual practice and they sit and meditate for 30 minutes a day. And I'm like, yeah, I need to do that. That is super inspiring to me, because they have the discipline to, commit to that practice. Yeah, so everyone kind of inspires me in their own special way. Everyone that I've crossed paths with.
Right. Okay, so wow.
It's almost 20 minutes. So Grace, you want to ask a last question?
Yes, we are all beginners, right? So what is the best advice you can give us? And also let us know where to reach you, or where we can, enroll in your classes.
I think my biggest advice for beginners is just stick with it. Do not compare yourself to anyone.
Mhm.
You know, especially if you're going into a group class, just because someone is advanced doesn't mean that you can't do the class. Most classes should be accessible, unless it says it's not. Like most classes are accessible to everyone, and you can modify. So where you are in your practice is not a determination of like if you're a good yoga student or not. I think a good yoga student is someone who shows up for themselves and shows up to their practice, and it's not attached to the postures or attached to like what's good. So just keep trying. Like anything, you just got to do it. You know, you have to commit to giving yourself a little bit of love,
It's all about
every time.
self-love, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. We have a question from one of our viewers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me read it out for you. So, question from our good friend Jobert Opulencia. So, why do people doing yoga roll to the right after savasana at the end of class and sometimes roll to the left? Is there some significance to this?
There is. So in
Okay.
yoga, we have our different sides, right? So energy lines, there's your Ida side, which is the feminine side, the Pingala side, which is the masculine side, and the Sushumna, which is your center line. And then it kind of goes like a helix, like a DNA up your spine.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
And in a more yang practice, like a more high energy type of practice, a Pingala style practice, a more heated class, some yogis will say roll to the right, to kind of honor that it was a tougher class. And yin, they roll to the left because it's a little bit softer. And I am not one of those teachers that does that. I kind of just say, however you wish to roll, roll, because we can do a class and I can feel one way after that class, but you know, Grace or you, Marivir, can feel a completely different way than what I felt. So,
Okay.
you know, but it's I don't think it's like the end all be all if you roll to the right or to the left side. It's just getting up. What is important though is Shavasana. I will say what is important is Shavasana, and I always give people time to, you know, end their practice with at least 2 minutes of Shavasana, because that's like the whole point of practicing is to just, you know, be still for, you know, 2 to 3 minutes after and just let that all soak in and, you know, do its job without you like, you know, moving into it.
Nice. All right.
Okay. So
Thank you so much.
Liz, for the time with us.
Thank
Yeah, so
you.
it has
And
been
all the
a
best
good
to
20
your
minutes.
all the best to your practice, and
Thank
hope
you
you will
so
have
much.
many more students.
Thank
And you
you.
can count Grace and I as an addition.
Yes, thank you
Yes,
for
just
showing us
contact
those
me.
styles, that freestyles earlier. And, you know, we appreciate learning more about yoga. And definitely we will reach out to you and enroll one of
Yes.
these days.
If
Awesome.
your followers are looking to find me, you can find
Yes.
me on Instagram. I actually have my handle there at
Okay,
Lister Yoga.
okay.
And then I'm also on Facebook. I think it's like at Lister and Yoga 1. And then you can contact me through my website, listerandyoga.com. Very
Awesome.
fluid.
Yes, it's all
Should be
there.
easy to find.
All right. Thank you so much, Liz. And
Thank you
regards
so
to your
much for
dad.
having me.
Regards to your
dad.
father.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care. Awesome. That is
Great.
refreshing.
I feel a little bit
Did you
relaxed.
exercise? I did.
I need to do a little bit of stretching later before going to bed.
Yes, you need that. You need that. I need that.
Okay, so
Promise, we should be students of
yes, no,
Lister.
really, seriously, we have to do it. I really want
Correct.
to do it. Yeah,
We
because I
need to
don't
be
have
healthy.
time.
Yeah. So
You
now
know,
let's move on
in
to
the
our
morning.
next
Yes,
segment.
we
Our
continue on
two
with our
beautiful guests.
discussion. Yeah, this
Beautiful
time
guests
with two
who
Filipino
are,
Americans who are running for office in the New York City Council.
yes, we'll introduce.
Okay, so
Ta-da-da.
first, Let me introduce Marni Halasa, who is a
Mhm.
passionate lawyer, activist, and pro figure skater, and is a Democrat candidate for City Council 2021.
Mhm.
After years of activism for small businesses, she pushed to pass off SBJSA, we'll ask her later on, when she ran in 2017. She also founded Community Control of Land Use. Marnie is currently a professional figure skater and coach. She was also a legal and financial journalist and the editor and reporter of New York Law Journal. Marnie graduated from Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism, JD University of Pittsburgh School of Law, and BS Carnegie Mellon University. Good evening, Marnie, and welcome to Issues and Inspiration.
Marnie is
Oh,
went out,
it's not
so
okay.
we will introduce our next guest.
Oh, all right. So our next guest is Deirdre Levy, who is a
Uh-huh.
special education teacher at New York City Department of Education. Deirdre graduated from Pace University in 2015, lives in
Mhm.
Brooklyn, New York, and is seeking a seat at the City Council, Brooklyn District 35. Hello, Deirdre. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Deirdre.
Oh my goodness, you're so
Deirdre is in the
young.
car.
I am in the car, so I have to turn off my camera so that way I don't get in trouble. And I have to put my phone down.
Did
But
you come from
it's
from
From work?
an event or your
yeah, I
campaign?
was getting my mom from Flushing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh.
I'm on my way to Cubby Sarah. So
Oh.
Oh,
I want to make and it's been a crazy day because it's also DMX's funeral. So it's been pretty crazy in Brooklyn. The late rapper that passed away, but it's also really exciting
oh.
because he did leave a legacy. So it's
Mm-hmm.
good to honor
Mm.
him, but it's been a lot of traffic the whole time, so I am in the
Okay.
car. But
Uh-huh.
I have to turn off my camera and then I'll resume once I get to Cubby Sarah, which should be like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
So, but you're not driving, right? I see
She's
Um,
your car
driving.
moving.
She's
Oh my
driving.
God.
I'm gonna
Yeah, it's
turn off
quite
You
my
are a Wonder
dangerous.
Woman.
Yeah,
So,
so turn off your cameras. We don't want you to get into an
I
accident.
don't want to get, yeah, me neither. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's great to be on the show. And it's great to see you.
I'm
Thank
going
you
to
for
put
having
her
me.
picture.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for
Yes.
having us. My God,
Okay,
you're a
but
Wonder Woman.
we have some
You're,
questions. Would you like to
can
answer
we
them
ask the
or?
question already?
Yeah, of course, I can do it since
Oh,
I
Okay.
am not
So,
distracted.
yeah, go ahead, Grace.
all right. Okay, so tell us, how is your campaign going on for the past few days? And what issues are you responding to in your district?
So we made it on the ballot, and
Mm-hmm.
there was
Yes,
something called a random
congratulations.
draw.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank
Mm-hmm.
you. There's something called a random draw with New York City votes, and
Mhm. What does
with the
that mean?
random draw, it's basically like a lottery to see like where you are on the ballot. So
Mm.
with the random draw, my name will be first on the ballot. So when
Okay.
people get their ballots in mail-in voting or in person, my name will be the first on the ballot amongst, I guess, 7 other candidates.
Wow,
So
first.
that's a good
Mhm.
thing because you'll
Very
see my
good.
name first on the ballot.
Right.
In terms of the issues in my district, there's still a big vaccine rollout. So I've been able to
Mm-hmm.
volunteer with one of the
Mm-hmm.
mutual aid groups, and I helped with assist the seniors that were getting their vaccines last month. Also, a big thing is housing and education, and those are the issues that I'm focusing on. So that's how it's going right now.
You're busy as usual, right? I think it got
Yeah.
worse. You're more
Um,
busier now.
Yeah, well, I'm also teaching full time, and there's
Oh.
ongoing changes to school right now.
So
We're
you're
going
back
to
to
be,
school, right?
well, I've been teaching in person the whole
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Um,
back to your classrooms, I mean.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
been back since September.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wow.
so this Monday we're going to have double the capacity in schools. So it's going to be a challenge, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to pull through with it with all of my colleagues and all the students. Um, it's just that, I think this is the year of the ox where everyone's working extra hard.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And I think that really that's really happening right now.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So, going back to your campaign, Deirdre, is it a tight competition to win in the primary?
So with the primary election, there are seven
Mm-hmm.
other candidates, and this year it's ranked choice voting.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to rank your candidates up to five of your choice. So we'll see
Mm.
how it goes, but in the long run, like I get along with all of the other candidates. I think we all bring something different to the table. I think we all have something good to offer. And I think whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But the system is very different right now since you get to rank up to five people.
I see. Okay. So, what could Filipinos do to push you for your candidacy?
I
How
think,
can we help you? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like before I ran for office,
Mm-hmm.
um, I've always been big in supporting other Filipinos. I founded NYC Filipinos, the Liga Filipina Network, and I've
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
been a big supporter of Filipino businesses and different organizations and different events that happen. So I think when it comes down to Filipinos supporting other Filipinos, I think um, it's all about reaching out and asking how you can help. I think
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes there's always something um, within the community where we always like chismis and gossip, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's something that needs to stop. Yes, it could be fun to chismis and gossip or whatever, but
Uh-huh.
like if we want to elevate each other and if we want to be unified, it's important to elevate each other and to see how we can help each other instead of just gossiping, like i think I think that's our
I so
problem.
agree with you. Yeah.
So
My God,
and I
gossiping.
Yeah.
Sometimes for others, it has
right,
become a profession.
yeah, I
Sorry.
think sometimes we need to like stay away from that and see how we can be like because we are a marginalized group, and um
Mm-hmm.
we need to make sure like in order like instead of thinking about like the negative stuff, like we need to think about like what can we do to help this person, what can we do to like be an advocate. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something that we're lacking in our community, and
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
as someone that has founded this group, I think it's important to see how we can be solutions oriented, and in terms of elevating more Filipino young people or older people to run for
Mm-hmm.
office. Um, I think that we should be able to encourage and support them. Like if somebody comes to you and asks, "How can I support a Filipino?" Or how can
Mm-hmm.
I support another Filipino in office? Well, what if we create more programs for Filipinos to have that path to office? I mean, I am not a
Yeah.
politician by any means. I'm a special education teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and this process has been hard to navigate. But
Mm.
I mean, I made it to the ballot. I'm going to be first in the ballot. Like this is like a step by step process, and if elected to city council, or even if I don't get elected to city council, I'd like to help other Filipinos who are interested in running for office to have that opportunity, because we need to develop each other instead of tear each other down.
Very
Yes, and we
good.
need to represent the Filipino community in the
Yeah.
council.
Exactly.
Before I ask
Mm-hmm.
you about your family, Deirdre, let me ask you what specific programs, for example, will you do or propose to enhance the capacity of Filipino leadership in New York, at least?
I think when it comes down to it, like I think it's important to volunteer um,
Mm-hmm.
for a Filipino candidate and to promote different leadership organizations that enhance voters to run and vote. But
Mm-hmm.
also, I mean, I'm taking notes on this whole process, and it would be great to have events for other Filipino leaders or to work with other organizations so that way we can promote more Filipino leaders in office. Um, so that's something that I'd like to do if elected to office.
Great.
Right.
Grace, do you have a question?
Um, let me. Oh, we don't have a question from our viewers
Okay, let
yet.
me ask you about this
Okay.
problem right now on the rise of crimes against Asian Americans. And as a future council representative, what do you think should be done about this?
I think that we have to get to the root cause of the problem. I think as a special education teacher, there are
Yeah.
often behavior issues in the classroom, and there's always a reason why there's a behavior issue. So if we get to the root causes of problems,
Oh, she's cut
Are you
off,
there?
Grace.
Asian hate
Okay.
crimes,
Okay.
I
Okay. Great.
think a lot
Uh-huh.
of people aren't sure about different ways in which I think a lot of it comes with ignorance in
Yes. Mm-hmm.
with the coronavirus, and how a lot of the times people have blamed people of Asian culture for the coronavirus. But I also think that when it comes down to these crimes, I think the people that are committing them, they should be held accountable. Um, because yes, get to the root cause of the problem, but we should hold people accountable for their actions. Because what happened to Vilma Carey or to Noel Quintana, those situations aren't right, and
Right. Mm.
Yeah.
those actions shouldn't be repeated. Um, but I think also combating the ignorance that has been shown through those actions is something that is very important to me. I know that Grace Meng is passing the anti-Asian hate crime bill, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have to make sure that we're protecting ourselves by educating and by accountability. So those are two things that are very important in combating the issues with anti-Asian hate.
Okay. All right. I have a
Amazing.
question, Deirdre. How do you feel about the transportation options currently in your district?
So my district is very interesting. We have
Mm-hmm.
drivers,
Mm-hmm.
we have cyclists, and obviously pedestrians, and we have open streets. So open streets means that the streets on the sidewalk of Vanderbilt and sometimes Underhill, they're open for the public to use, and it helps local businesses. So that's something
Mm-hmm.
that my district is trying to figure out to accommodate the needs of pedestrians, um, cyclists, and drivers. Um, but I think what's another issue is just making sure that the subways are running on time, so
Mm-hmm.
that way we have less people driving in the street, or just making sure that there's efficient route times or efficient routes for the residents of the district. So those are the issues that we're facing right now.
Okay. All right. Um, you have another question?
Yes. Are you still
MM.
driving?
She's still
Yeah,
Miss
driving.
Deirdre?
I can't turn on my camera, so I
It's
don't want to be
okay.
in
I
trouble.
just
It's
want to be
okay.
sure you're all right. Tell us about your family, Deirdre. Your mom's Filipino, your dad's American, and how has those two different cultures developed you into the person that you are now?
So it's been very interesting because I've been able to embrace two different cultures. My mom's
Uh-huh.
from the Philippines. She's from Pangasinan, and
Mm-hmm.
my dad, his family is from Israel. So
Uh-huh.
before it became Israel, my on my dad's birth certificate, it says place of father's birthplace is Palestine. So
I'll
Mm.
show this.
Oh, okay. That's nice. First time I'm
it's
saying
great.
this. Nice.
It's great to
Mm-hmm.
grow up with two different cultures, and I'm grateful that I have a lot of family in the Philippines, and a lot of family um, that's living here. My grandma lives in California with my uncle on my mom's side, and my mom has always told me to be proud of like two cultures. I've always been proud to be
Mm-hmm.
Filipina, and I think it's important that we are elevated in terms of other positions, not just beauty pageants, not just entertainment positions. You know, we are smarter than that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, not that
Right.
being a beauty queen or an entertainer is a bad thing, but like we have a lot of potential to do greater things, and I think that people need to realize that.
Okay. Deirdre,
Right,
have you had a
right.
chance to visit the Philippines?
I have. I went when I was
Mm-hmm.
12. I stayed in Pangasinan. My mom's family is from San Carlos,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it was it was fun. I would love to go again once the pandemic is over. Um,
Yay.
and
Yes.
I have a lot of it was great just being in the barrio and just hanging out with
Mm-hmm.
all the different cousins, but it's been a while and I would just love to go back when the whole virus is over, the whole pandemic is over.
Right.
Okay, I
So
just have
great.
a yes, I have a follow-up question to that. So if elected to office, would you help the Philippine tourism and promote, the nice destinations we have there? And how would you include that in your plans? How would you
I
promote the Philippines?
with my district, like
Mm-hmm.
my district is Fort Greene, Prospect Heights, Clinton Hill, Bed-Stuy, and Crown Heights. And as a council member, you focus on the issues in the district, but I have so much Filipino pride for
Mm-hmm.
um, just for promoting the Filipino community, and I go and support the businesses that are within my district. Like Hunky Dory is a great business on
Mhm.
Franklin Avenue,
Nice. Mm-hmm.
and there there are other places that are Filipino, but not in the district. There's Fob Brooklyn, but I'd love to have events where we can promote Filipino culture, and to
It's great.
Awesome.
show
Mm-hmm.
um, what great things we have. So it would
Mm-hmm.
be great to work with the Office of Tourism if that's possible, um,
Mm-hmm.
because I think when it comes to elevating Filipino voice, I think it's all about education and showing what's great about the Philippines. And
Exactly.
because there are some Filipinos that live in the district too,
Mm-hmm.
um, so it would be great to show that in the neighborhoods that I would serve.
Thank you. Would like to welcome Marni.
Hi.
Marni,
Hi. Sorry.
hello.
Hi. Oh,
Hi, Marnie.
okay. Hold on.
There you
There you
are.
go.
Deirdre.
Okay. Hi. Sorry, I was
Um,
late. Like
no, you were
Yeah,
40
we
early.
things,
understand. You
40
both
things that
are
could go
busy.
wrong went wrong. I was like out on the street trying to like canvas and talk to voters, and
Uh-huh.
I got really
You're
inundated.
you're in the thick of the campaign, right?
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So congratulations, and you are
Yes,
on
we
the
heard.
ballot. Wow.
Congratulations to both
I
of
clap my
you.
hands.
Yes. Yes.
So
It was a ton of work. Oh, it's
Yeah, we can
interesting. Like,
imagine.
is for me personally,
Mhm.
just being out on the street is my favorite thing to do, and to talk to
Mhm.
people. And I have some volunteers that are, they grew up kind of like, they were, they're comfortable being on the street. They're talking to people on the street. And
Okay.
I grew up in Akron, Ohio, so there was a little of that, but not that much. It was very
Mhm.
suburbia. Like you're always in a car, driving from point A to point B. And,
Mhm.
for me, that's the part I really, really enjoy. The
Mhm.
fundraising and asking for money, not so much.
Really? Oh my God. I think it's tougher,
I
right?
Okay.
can't stand. But the people, talking to people, and, hearing what's really going on in the district. And
Mhm.
for
Uh-huh.
me personally, it's like there's so many people in need. Whether it's public housing tenants. We have 4
Mhm.
developments in my district.
Mhm.
just the homeless. We have like a huge, homelessness, issue where, the city council has really prioritized gentrification and luxury development over a social safety net. What's interesting is that, New York City, we've lost like 150,000 SROs. And SROs are people where, teachers would come, or, actors or actresses, or, somebody who wanted to be a restaurant worker. You could rent a deeply affordable, let's say one room efficiency, for $500, and really try to make it in New York. And, if it didn't work out, you could always go, back home or somewhere else. But it really was a stepping stone to, solidifying yourself in the city. And that's really gone now. So for my district, it's the housing, deeply affordable housing, homelessness. So it's definitely a real issue.
Okay.
What are the places in District 35, Marni? What are these areas?
Oh, District 3. District 3 is,
33, yes.
Yeah. So it's Chelsea, Hell's Kitchen, Midtown West, the West Village, the Garment District. So we have, it's very, very like built up. Parts are, it's apparently the fourth wealthiest district out of the 51 council districts. It's a lot of diversity. We have Restaurant Row. We have the High Line. There's very wealthy areas, and then also very, sort of poor areas.
Bustling. It's rich and poor at the same time,
at the same time, yeah. And in a weird way, like the diversity of that, I think that's what I love about New York. It's not so homogenous. You different things whenever you walk around. Not so much like in Akron, Ohio. I've seen everything. It doesn't really change.
It's the same place.
Yeah. But like now what I see and I'm really 167 steps away from Hudson Yards.
Oh, wow.
For 27 years. And, it's so different. But, my take on development is, development should be responsible, and it should be driven by the community. And the community needs to determine what they want. And the activists that I'm working with now, whether it's the Chinatown activists or, just other activists in the city, what we're all trying to do is create community-driven development. So the community comes in, and they're the ones that say to the developer, listen, we need this, this, and this. But right now what's happening is the developers come in, they use, billions of dollars of public money, and they just build whatever they want. The community has no say. Everything is very advisory. So I'm really running to change that.
Marni, I just have a question about SBJSA. Can you tell us more about that? Because I know you worked on that back in 2017.
Right. So the SBJSA is the Small Business Job Survival Act. And what that would do is it's legislation that's languishing in city council. It's been sitting there for 30 years. And what that would do is give a small business owner a long-term, affordable, and renewable lease. So once their lease ended, they could actually renew their lease for 10 years. And that would actually that would really be the solution to all the small business closures. This was pre-pandemic. So I ran against Corey Johnson in 2017. It was really a whim. I only ran for 3 months.
Marketing.
Brought it to my attention. I was like, okay, but I didn't really know what that really entailed. But that's what I pushed. And the interesting thing about that run is my campaign was only attention. And it really pushed him to give the Small Business Job Survival Act a public hearing. He promised to pass it after the public hearing because everybody was in so support because, we have to support our small businesses because they were closing. So many were closing. And he never did that. So the interesting thing about, I think, local politics is that you can be 1 or 2 or 3 people, but if you're on the right side of history and you really push it full throttle, you actually can influence the sitting council member to actually do something because they're always afraid that if I look bad, then I'm not going to be reelected. So that's what I have to say is really, 1 or 2 or 3 people can really change the direction of things. And to me, that's what is so amazing about local politics.
Okay.
Amazing.
Can you also say about the community control of land use
Yes.
you founded?
Yes, yes. So that's really an organization that is sort of made up of activists, and some of the activists actually are running for city council right now. And we're trying to figure out, okay, what are the mechanisms that we can create or that we can promote that gives the community like final say in development. So like right now, everything is advisory. Like community can say like, oh, well, if you're going to do this development, give us a school, give us a playground, but we're going to have to accept it. And, please do something for us. Almost like they're begging for crumbs. I'm interested in creating a mechanism so the community has final say. So if the community doesn't want development, like tall skyscrapers or luxury development that's going to hyper gentrify the area, if the community doesn't want it, then it's not going to happen. So it's completely. I want to take the city in a completely different direction, and we'll see what happens. But what I'm finding is when I talk to voters, I mean, a lot of the seniors that they all vote, they've seen the neighborhoods gentrify, and they don't like it, and they're like, well, what can we do? And I'm thinking, okay, well, let me figure out what we can do. So that's what community control of land use is about.
Okay.
It's a big fight. It's a David and Goliath fight.
Yes. The Filipinos are excited about these elections right now.
Yeah.
And as we can see, we are featuring you almost every week. Last week we had Stephen Raga, and now the two ladies. I would like to ask.
What I want to say about Deirdre also, like Deirdre and I, what's I think amazing about us is we're ordinary people running for office. Deirdre's a teacher. I teach figure skating. I've had some other, I've been a lawyer, I have a law degree and I was a reporter, but we're regular people. And I really want to push that idea that it's regular people that need to get involved, because we think outside the box, but we're also the closest to our constituents.
You're really grounded on reality, I would say.
Exactly.
I'll ask you about your heritage, about your Filipino heritage and your American heritage, and how does that help you become the person that you are right now?
My mother, her name was Ophelia Halasa. She was probably one of the first professional Filipino women in the Northeast Ohio area. And she was, it's funny because I tell this to people like, oh, my mom was like a really serious tiger mother, like a little bit scary, like she was a tiger mom and I was going to succeed no matter what. And, I hear people are like, oh, but Filipino people are so nice and so sweet and so gentle. I was like, that was not my mother. My mother really gave me, I think, a tremendous drive and, sort of things that I think like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm never going to accomplish that. But there's something that's in me that I feel like she gave me. She's like, try it, do it, and just, see where it goes and have some confidence in yourself. So, but then my father was Jordanian, but he was also like kind of a tiger parent also. Oh. So I had both of them like seriously pushing me. But, that's why I feel like, I can, this, running for office, it's a huge endeavor. And sometimes I think I am absolutely crazy to do this. But, I think my parents gave me the foundation to be like, you know what, like, I'm going to do this. It gives you some determination. So.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah, I asked this earlier to Deirdre. So what could Filipinos do to push you for your candidacy?
So, I think with all like sort of like insurgent campaigns, because my primary opponent is Eric Botcher, who is the chief of staff. And usually what happens is that the council member's chief of staff always runs, for the seat. So Filipinos, the ones that live in New York City, it would be great if, it's hard to ask for money in a pandemic, but if they could donate to my campaign, that would be great. Even if it's like just like $20. So in terms of fundraising, that's always like a priority. But also if they can volunteer for my campaign, I'm out in Chelsea, Hell's Kitchen, the West Village every day, even if they stand on the street corner and give me an hour or two. And, just say Marni Halasa is running for city council. Here's her literature. What are your issues? And, I always want to engage, like, what are your issues in the neighborhood? What would you like to see changed? So even standing on a corner and handing out my card, that's really good too. I mean, that's what I just came from. I was at a supermarket. Like, Marni for city council. But I make it fun. And just like really getting the word out. The one question that you asked Deirdre about what can I do for, the Filipino community? Yes. For me, a lot of the Filipinos are home healthcare workers. They also are nurses. They work in hospitals. And what I would like to see is they need to live closer to their workplaces. So in Chelsea and Hell's Kitchen, District 3, I would like to build deeply affordable housing, for the Filipino community. So they don't have to travel so far. So if they want to live in Chelsea, near to the hospitals, that they can. So that's one thing that I was thinking about as well.
Great.
That's good. Okay, so, MM, you have a question?
Yes, let me ask you about what can you do about this problem on the surge of Asian hate crimes, Deirdre? I mean, I'm sorry, Marni.
No, yes, that's a serious. Deirdre and I and Stephen were at a rally that. Yes,
that one.
Yes. Again, if I'm elected, I would like to actually dedicate a person in my office, to Asian hate crimes. I think that's really important. And really, like all hate crimes are horrible. Yes. But I think the Asian hate crimes in particular are terrible because, people don't ever come forward. So there's like all this. I mean, the New York Times did a fascinating article about how many Asian hate crimes there were. And it was just voluminous, like how many crimes that are reported. And then there's so many that are not reported. So I think having dedicating a person, to Asian hate crimes, I think is really important. Also like really, fostering, a marketing campaign, educating our communities that Asians also have experienced like horrible discrimination, like, so many groups. So I think, when you educate people, like this is actually, these are what, these groups are experiencing. I think you have, a level, you can build a level of empathy. So.
Great. Thank you so much. Oh, we welcome back Deirdre.
Oh, I think she's now at Cabecera.
She's still going to get in. She will still have to be inside.
Oh,
hi, Deirdre.
Okay. Are they on mute? All right.
I have the headphones on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I have headphones on.
Yes, we can hear you, Deirdre.
Okay, good.
Welcome back.
So at the start of the pandemic, two other Filipinos and I, we started Project Barkada, and it was to help the frontline workers get meals for the front line, like because we have a lot of people that work in hospitals. So we're having an event at Cabecera, so I wanted to make sure that I'm supporting, even though right now, I mean, I've been busy the whole day, so that's why I'm at Cabecera now.
But there's an event going on there right now? Awesome.
Yeah. They just finished the event, but I wanted to say hi.
Very good of you.
Sometimes I can't make it to certain things, but this is one of the co-founders, Joey.
Hi.
Hello.
But,
welcome.
Now I'm at Cabecera, and they open, and that's Joey.
Now you're like the
Joey.
reporter now. Hi, Joey.
And Audrey just she
DJ.
just opened up her restaurant.
Angeline. Hello.
Yeah.
They're in the show. You're in the show, DJ.
You're in the show. You're in the show.
We are having Deirdre as a guest, but she wants to be in your event. So there you go. Everybody's in the show. Deirdre, thank you so much for this.
I wanted to make
Okay.
sure that I can attend because, it's important to support Filipino small businesses all the time.
Right.
And Cabicera has been a great supporter of everyone during this pandemic. So I wanted to make sure I was there to support them along with our small
Amazing.
businesses.
So, what
Yeah.
are they doing? Are they opening a new product or a new store?
Yeah, so
What's-
their new store is called Sisters Mini Mart, and there
Oh yeah,
are
yeah.
different
Oh, I saw
people
that on Facebook.
that get to have pop-ups different weekends. So
Awesome.
so that's what's happening at Cabicera right now. So I definitely am a big supporter of all the different Filipino businesses, and it's just really important to support Filipino businesses at any chance that we can, especially now. So
I agree.
yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Right. Okay. Maribel, I've asked this question with to Stephen last time.
Yeah,
He
you
was
ask
sick.
it again
Yes.
now.
I'll ask
The
it
two
again. So
ladies.
how these two ladies are too busy with their campaign. So how do you balance your personal life? Do you still have a personal
Not
life?
personal life. I mean, my husband.
Yeah, that's
He's
like a
become
top
a
of
ghost.
garbage, right?
Like
Yeah.
I walk in my apartment. My husband's on the
Uh-huh.
couch, and then I walk into this room. This is like my office,
Mhm.
and
Uh-huh.
I shut the door, and that's it. And he's like, "Do I have a wife anymore?"
Oh,
So, like,
slowly
you
join
know,
the campaign.
yeah, like, but he's very supportive, and it just is just such a daunting task. So, yeah, I mean, you have to give the campaign a priority, and the people that love you will understand, and you just you keep pushing forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my
Deirdre,
gosh.
Yeah, I
How do you
totally agree with
balance?
how do you
Marni.
balance your life? Yeah.
I agree with Marni. I think the
Mhm.
priority is the campaign. So everything it's just like temporary. You do it for the campaign because
Right.
there's a bigger goal at hand, and it's a lot of work, just like Marni said, especially when it came to getting on that ballot. A lot of going outside and asking people for signatures. So it's really about prioritizing and
Uh-huh.
seeing what's important at the moment. So that I totally agree.
Okay. All
You know,
I
right.
wish
also,
you're
I
keeping healthy and safe, right?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
hope.
as healthy and safe as we can be. I take emergency every day, but that's something that I did because I'm a special education teacher, and
Vitamin
we have a
C.
pandemic. So yeah, the
Yeah.
emergency, that packet, and I make sure I eat an
Right.
apple every
Yeah.
day, because it keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, that's
But I mean,
1,000 milligrams.
yeah, I try to be healthy just as a teacher in general. So
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
So
yeah,
thank you
ladies, you
so
are
much. It's time.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our time's
Inspirational
up.
based on what you have shared with us tonight. But we hate to end this
well, it's
discussion.
Deirdre and
We're
I,
out of time.
if people want to join our campaigns,
Yes. Please.
just go to my website, marniforcitycouncil.com.
Mhm.
My email is marnihalasa@gmail.com. I try to be very responsive. And, again, somebody just stands on a street corner in my district and just hands out my literature, give my cards, and just say, Marty's running for city council. You can have music in the backgrounds. I wish I had like answers, but I try to make it fun for everybody. So
for your supporters and the community where you intend to serve in the future and they would like to donate, where can they
you know what? I think
make donations?
probably with Deirdre also. I just go to our website.
Okay, which is
Yeah. And the thing is, what I want to say is that if you donate $10, that becomes $90 for the campaign because everything matches. If somebody gives us $100, that becomes $900 for our campaign. $50 becomes $450. So it really would help. If you live in the city and you want to donate, that would be awesome. Deirdre also, because, and Stephen, we all like really need it.
okay.
Right. So
Deirdre.
parting shots.
Yeah, I agree with Marni, what Marni said. Just go to our websites. Mine is DeirdreLevy.com. And you can also search on all of our names, NYC Votes, and that's how you can donate. Every donation counts to helping get the word out about our name for our campaign. So.
All right. Okay,
awesome. So we won't
thank
hold
you,
you
ladies,
for so
and good
long.
luck. We will pray for your
All
success.
the best, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
All the best.
Yeah,
All
thank
the
you for
best.
having us.
Yes.
Take care. Take care always.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay,
Good night.
bye. Bye, good night. So that was it. It's
So,
over an hour.
I'm saying M&M.
Yes.
I'm craving for M&M.
Oh no.
Wow, they are so busy.
They're so busy and so happy that they still
End of their
joined us.
campaign. Yep.
Yeah. So
And
before
very
we close,
passionate. Can you see their passion with what they're
yes,
doing? Yeah.
that's
So
what
admirable.
that's
Amazing
what
ladies
women
we
leaders
have.
are,
Yeah. That's
right?
why we are so proud of these two Filipino Americans representing us in
I
the
know. It's about
NYC
time.
City Council. Yeah. It's about time. I know.
Yeah. So we
They
will put
started
this
it.
out too.
Which one?
This one. It's about time too. Hold on.
What's happening?
Here you go. This is the 7th
Oh,
Filipino
yes.
Community General
Seventh
Assembly.
Filipino Community General Assembly is happening on May 1st, virtually at this time because we're still in a pandemic. It's going to be on next Saturday, May 1st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. via Zoom. So this is an invitation for all presidents of Filipino American organizations to please take part and register. You can go to the New York Philippine Consulate Facebook page and look for this poster and see where you can register your organization. Again, this is on May 1st. If you live in the 10 states within the jurisdiction of the New York Philippine Consulate. Okay.
All right. So see you there. And this one is another event.
Yes, we have two amazing performers, Luan Cuenco and Paz Herrero, along with Maestro Bobby Ramiro. He's a musical director.
And,
they will have
really
a concert on May 22nd, 2021, Saturday. I believe this is virtual too, right? Or is it for? Oh no, I'm sorry. This is at the Haven in Queens, New York.
Yeah, I think this has limited engagement. A few
Yes. They will still, I think, practice social distancing here, and please don't forget to wear your masks. It's It's
when is this? I hope I'll be able to watch. It's in May.
Go. Please cover
May
it. It's on May 22 at the Haven in Queens, New York.
Okay.
Two amazing ladies.
Looking forward.
Yeah,
so that's about it, my dear.
Yes,
we're done for the day. I'm picking up my glasses.
It's the weekend, but we're still working, do our part for the community.
Doing the laundry.
I'll do that tomorrow. Thank you, Maribir. It's always fun. And
thank you, Grace. I know you're
and don't forget our yoga class, okay? Our yoga class.
Oh, our yoga class.
I
forgot already. Oh my God.
you commit to this yoga class.
I will.
All right.
Let's go to listernyoga.com to enroll.
We have to do it. Like I said, emotionally,
we need to be healthy.
Yes, we have to do it for ourselves.
Right.
Like
we need to be healthy.
We're not getting any younger.
I know.
Okay,
so it's been a wonderful night. Thank you, GL, and hope to see you again whenever. But
on Facebook.
Definitely on our next episode.
Yes.
Thank you to our viewers.
Yes.
And it's been a wonderful, wonderful time with you, Grace. So God bless and take care, everyone.
Thank you. Good night and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye.
Bye.